Right now, we'd like to give all of our candidates a bit of a rebuttal time. We'd like to take the time to allow the candidates vying for the mansion here in Springfield, the governor's mansion, to kind of clear the air and find out if there was anything said tonight that they'd like to expand upon, or anything said by other the candidates that they took exception to. So you will have 45 seconds, gentlemen. So we appreciate it if you can make it concise, and we'll begin with you, Mr. Brady.
Well, thank you very much. Let me just say that it's an honor to be here tonight. I'm running for governor because I believe in Illinois. I believe this state has the richest heritage and the richest opportunity of any state in the nation. And I want to take my Central Illinois business experience, coupled with my legislative experience, to work with the legislature to forward meaningful programs that move our state forward. I've outlined an agenda. I said no to Democratic tax increases and yes to tax cuts for families and businesses. I said we're going to balance the budget. We're going to have education reform. We're going to have term limits to restore government to the people of Illinois. Those are the policies, the bold initiatives that we need in this state. And as your governor, that's what I'm going to deliver on.
Mr. Dillard, you're on the clock.
Thank you. I think this is our clarification round, is it not?
It is.
You know, Bernie, in answer to your question about Mr. Brady's position on social issues, the demise of his campaign began with an idea that he had to mass euthanize animals. That began the drumbeat that made him a vulnerable candidate. And it was also followed up with stories, and there was another one on the front page of the Chicago Tribune last week, where Bill votes on legislation before the General Assembly that impacts his family's real estate business. I'll give Mr. Rauner a pass tonight on pay-to-play. I won't gig him about Stuart Levine being paid $1 million, the mastermind of the Blagojevich corruption ring, and he getting $50 million back from a board that Mr. Levine sat on. You touched on him clouding his kid into the Walter Payton High School in Chicago, and I won't even mention how he gave $300,000 to the Democrat governor of Pennsylvania and then had business increase from public pension funds in Pennsylvania to his firm.
Mr. Rauner, salvo's been fired.
I like all those things that weren't mentioned. That's that's impressive. So, Bernie, I'd like to address your comment, and I apologize to you for being incorrect. Frankly, my memory is not clear, and I honestly thought that I had never talked to Arnie because it was a minor issue, our daughter's application process, which I wasn't involved with. My wife corrected me, said, Bruce, you talked to Arnie. I said, I thought you talked to Arnie. Okay, I don't remember. The fact is, it was a minor issue because we didn't ask for any special favors. We just got her name on the list. And I spent a lot of time, and this is an important issue, with school reform in Chicago. Vouchers, charter schools, merit pay, modification of tenure, and really empowering parents. My wife and I are dedicated to that. We've spent years and much of our financial resource trying to empower parents in Chicago for school choice, and we're passionate about it.
Mr. Rutherford.
You know, I don't think there's anything I need to clarify, but there's something I'd like to highlight even further. When you asked the question earlier about Chicago and Springfield, you know, it is very obvious. I mean, you don't have to be an economist to understand that building space, office space between the city of Chicago and Springfield is dramatically different in price. That is in part why I see the majority of my staff, the vast majority of my staff on the Treasurer's office, and for that matter should be for government, right here in the capital city. You even take things like parking spaces. What you have to pay for a parking space for fleet cars and staff cars in the city of Chicago compared to Springfield is dramatically different. And to be candid too, salaries and the cost of living, it is dramatically different. It makes abundant economic sense to have the staffing here at the state capitol.